just show you something. Inside of your head, we've talked about the chemical compositions, the electrical stimulus, and so forth. There is no pictures inside of your brain. There is no sound inside of your brain. But if I was to say to you to close your eyes for a moment, and then maybe just, Elvis Presley, he's a pretty famous, just close your eyes for a minute and listen and see if you can hear Elvis Presley singing inside of you. You can't. How is it possible? Because there is no sound inside. You can only hear with your ears. But you're hearing the voice of Elvis. If I was to say to you, even say, listen, hear inside your mother's voice. Close your eyes, listen to your mother. Your father. Instantly you can hear. You can hear the tone of voice, and yet, how is it possible? You're hearing without ears. Here, close your eyes. Picture a house that you lived in when you were a little child. There it is. Where'd it come from? You're seeing without an eye. You're listening without an ear, because all of these things are done in chemical compositions. All of these things are done by electricity. All of these things are done in a way. Look, when you have a television set, if you bring a television set and put it on a table here and you plug it in, put little rabbit ears on it, okay. You take electricity from the outside that powers the TV, and then the television has transistors and diodes and circuits and microchips and so forth. And it interprets the different parts of the ether, and then all of a sudden there's picture and sound. That television is not picking up a picture, okay, out of the wall. The television is picking up a picture from inside of the room. Inside of the room, while you're sitting in this room right here, there are horses running through here, there are airplanes going through here, there are wrestlers here, there are people singing and dancing in here, there are people all going through this, right here, right in this room. Look at it. Can't you see them? See the horses? Say, well, he's crazy. There's no horse. But if I was to take a television set, if I was to take something that is capable of achieving the frequency that these things are on as they're going through this room, instantly you could see them. Instantly. They're all over the place. And that's the problem. And you cannot see the things that you should see because you're operating at a frequency that is too low. When they talk about, let me tell you something right now. When you hear this religious stuff about the Most High God, what you're really hearing is about the Most High frequency. Okay? And that's what's being said. That's exactly what's being said. And if you can get yourself to the point of moving to that frequency, you will get yourself to the point of being able to communicate with this essence that's called God. The brain is nourished by glucose and oxygen. It functions in its duty by the energy from the soul, the sun. Look, you know what's an amazing thing to me, Albert? If you were to listen inside of your chest, you'll hear something going. What keeps it going? What is keeping it going? If you take a clock, you hear the same thing, right? Now, you've either got two things. You wind it up, or you hook it up to the power. It's got to be connected to some source of power for that clock to go like that. Now, some of you do get wound up, but I don't think really that's what's keeping you going. You are connected to an electrical energy. You are connected to an energy, to an electrical energy. Okay, and that electrical energy, it is what's causing you to actually exist. It's a power, and you can call it by myriads of religious names. But basically, it is a power. Now, the activities that take place in the brain are recorded on a body of microwaves. And what you do in this body of microwaves, where the activities are recorded, you call spirit. Instantly, you can pull anything you want. You can pull an incident that happened when you were a child. You can pull an incident that happened last week. It's all in a bank. Your brain has 120 million nerve cells, Albert, is that right? Each one has 16,000 neighboring cells, and you use 10% of them. Use 10% of them. And that's why you're told to tithe the 10% that you do use. Do you know the most important thing in the world is you as an individual, to be the individual that you are, to be the unique, special person that you are. But most of us have been so afraid and have been so conditioned by religion that we're so frightened to be the individual that we have allowed ourselves to be consumed by religious organizations, groups, and institutions, and have lost the meaning of our own personality and our own life. So what you think you see and what you think you hear are electrical impulses from among the neurons of the brain, providing a system of communication to the program that is uniquely you. So you see things. And you know, it's an interesting thing. I remember the time we read that story. Some people see things differently than other people do. Same thing. Some people can see a mountain with a cloud upon it and the darkness of it and a foreboding of something very evil. Others can see it's something very mystical. Others can see it's something very tranquil. It depends. It depends on your... So everything, you hear things, you react to things differently. You're going to react to something differently. The same thing that's said to you, one person is going to react to it differently than another person. Because each one of us are uniquely individual. So your brain then is an evaluation mechanism that interprets various frequencies and waves and cosmic rays that we're talking about according to the way it is programmed at birth, and it is programmed at birth. Now think. This is what I want you to think about. We got to this point, since we've got to this point. What would you see if your brain interpreted frequencies and waves that at present you cannot reach? Oh, what am I talking about? Just think of the indications of that. Let's say this is you. It's a TV set. You're a TV set. Just give me, for now, you're a TV set. Okay? You have channels 2 to 13. Okay? That's what your TV set has. You have channels 2 to 13. Some preacher has come up here and told you about Larry King on CNN. There's no such thing. And so you search through 2 to 13 and you never find it. No matter how you turn the dial, no matter how you pray, no matter how you lay hands on it, no matter what television set you take to what temple or what church or what denomination, you'll never see Larry King between 2 to 13. Doesn't exist there. What do you have to do? You have to connect this thing to a different source, and you have to leave the frequencies of 2 to 13 and go to a higher frequency in order to see it. It's exact. Yes, there are things that exist that you can't see. Yes, there are things that exist that you can't hear. And yes, when you talk about them, the people up there on the street will say you're nuts, you're a cult, you're into all of this kind of crap, because their television only goes from 2 to 13. But when you get connected to the power and you can raise that power above channel 13 within you, then you'll touch the power. Then you'll see the... But you still won't get them to believe it, because remember, their television set only goes to channel 13. That's the point. That's the point. Look at page 932. And this is basically what I'm talking about. In 1 Corinthians chapter 2, and in verse 9, the Apostle Paul, 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 9, the Apostle Paul is talking about this very thing. And you're looking on page 932. Page 932. The Apostle Paul is talking about this very thing. What does he say? 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 9, page 932. As it is written, eye has not seen, nor ear heard, neither has entered into the heart of man the things which God has prepared for them that love him. You haven't seen it. They haven't seen it. They have no idea. They have never heard it. And when you do see it, when you plug your TV, and when your TV is taking you up into ultra-high frequencies, they say you're crazy. Oh, you couldn't see such a thing. There is no such thing. Stay away from that. Let me show you something. When you are plugged in, when you are able to see and to hear, like I'm talking about here, then you'll understand things. Go to page 796. In page 796, the book of Matthew. Matthew chapter 19. Okay. And we're winding this down. Jesus says something, huh? Yeah, 796. Matthew chapter 19. And in verse 12. Jesus is talking about eunuchs. Okay? What are eunuchs? Eunuchs of the day were not all people who were castrated. Eunuchs of that day were also people that you'd call today gay, homosexual. And he makes a statement that it's very difficult for an average person in the church to hear or to understand. He says, in Matthew chapter 19, verse 12, there are some eunuchs which were so born from their mother's womb. And there are some eunuchs which were made eunuchs of men, and there be eunuchs which have made themselves kings of men. He's just saying there were some that were born that way from their mother's womb. See? Where do I part company with Christianity? I part company with Christianity when I say, if Jesus said it, you act on it. If he said it, you do it. If he said it, you believe it. And if he said there were some that are born that way from their mother's womb, then you heap no guilt on anybody because he said it. Stay. And this is what he said. And this is interesting what he said. He that is able to receive it, let him receive it. Because most of them are at 2 to 13 and they don't understand. On page 787 in Matthew chapter 11, verse 15, Jesus makes another statement, and you could turn there if you want, or you don't have to, either way you want to go with it. And he's talking about something else. He says, he that has ears to hear, let him hear. In other words, you've got to be plugged into this. And you can't get plugged into it by reading it. You can't get plugged into it by listening to somebody. You've got to plug yourself into a higher frequency through your meditation. Now remember what we said a minute ago. We're just almost done. What is spirit? Activities recorded on a body of microwaves. How do you touch that? And let me show you the instructions from Jesus himself in the Bible as how you do this. It's very simple. It doesn't require you to give any money. It doesn't require you to join any church. It doesn't require you to read any Bible. It simply requires you to do something very, very simple. On page 781 in Matthew chapter 6, Jesus gives you the instructions of exactly what you have to do if you want to move into this sphere. He says in Matthew chapter 6, verse 22, the light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, your whole body shall be full of light. And Jesus Christ has instructed you with the ancient occult practice of practicing the single eye. In other words, meditate. Get into peace with yourself. Get into a communion with God with yourself. And one last one, where Jesus is instructing the teachers of the Bible and the lawyers of the Bible, in page 847, Luke chapter 11. Page 847, Luke chapter 11. And here's a key to you. And you say, well, gee, I don't know how to... I want to be able to get above channel 13. I want to be able to commune with the stars. I want to be able to get in on what's going on here, the evolution of the world. I want to be able to get in with nature. I want to be able to speak to the dolphins. I want to be able to do all of these things. But, what's the key to all of this? What do I do? Well, he spoke, he came down, and whatever he was, or wherever he came from, or however he spoke, this voice spoke to the people, the lawyers who were given the law of the Bible, and he turns around in Luke chapter 11 on page 847, Luke 11:52, and he says, woe unto you lawyers, you people who are making up the rules and regulations, you have taken away the key of knowledge, you entered not in yourselves, and them that were entering in, you hindered. How clear does it have to be? I don't make this stuff up. I told you what he said. He says you take away the key of knowledge because you don't enter within yourself. The kingdom is within you. Within you, not within a church. Within you, not within the Pope. Within you, not within Billy Graham. Within you, not within a preacher. Within you, not within a rabbi. Within you. And this Jesus, this same Christos, this same Yeshua, this same Krishna said to you, hey, the things that I do, you can do better than me. Because he expected you to. He didn't expect you to grovel and sign a page and say what kind of a sinner you are or sing a song about how a wretch you are. He expected you to take up the challenge and say, I am going to light that within me. I am going to plug into that. I'm going to raise that to that ultra high frequency. But you're now limited to 10%. Do you want to tell you something? 10%. Get this. The universal television set of channels capacity for the human brain probably is about 7,000 channels. You use 10. What's on channel 6,987? I don't know. I can't get that high. Yes, you can.